Okay, we're recording and we're ready to roll. Here we go. Oh, wait. Why is the balance so off? Hold on a second. Fix. There we go. Fixie. Test. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. All right. I think we're ready to go.
You resolved? Is that taken care of now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think so. I think we're solid as a rock, as the kids say.
Solid as a rock.
Right?
Do.
Okay. Let's do this. It begins in... pull that up here. Okay, it begins in 3, 2, 1. Coming up on TMS, people got golden statues of men.
The dead do not rise.
Spielberg thanks Zeus more than anyone.
Don't forget to wear your banana.
Hitler walk won't pass.
50 Shades of Crazy People.
Major spoilers.
Your emails and more on this episode of The Morning Stream.
5, eyes, action.
Ja, blaas maar, ja, slik maar, ja, richtig, ja, so lässig, geil, ja, nochmal, nehmen nochmal das Maul, ja, fein, ja, mach was so, ja, so geil. Ja, richtig, ja, so, ja, ist gut, ja. Ja, umspritz,
They say he has grit. I wanted a man with grit.
We can't date, you're too oily. This is The Morning Stream.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to The Morning Stream. This is The Morning Stream for Monday, February 23rd, 2015. Almost the end of the damn month already. What the hell's that about? It's crazy. Wow. Weren't we just at BlizzCon? What happened? How did that go so fast?
Why do the months fly by so fast?
Yeah, fly by so fast is what you meant to say.
Why am I getting old and can't remember the things I'm saying as I say them?
It's weird because I really do feel like I was just in Anaheim. For whatever reason, that's a time marker for me, that event. And I feel like we just did that. But that was a long time ago now.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost to the point where they could announce next year's. And then wouldn't that be something? Oh, yes, it would be. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to The Morning Stream. We're glad to be here. It's me, Scott, Tim, Brian. Hi, Brian.
Oh, hi, Scott. How are you?
I'm all right. I feel like I may be getting a cold, and I'm dreading it because I haven't had one since 2013. April of 2013 is the last time I had a cold. Like a straight-up head, nose, chest thing. Been ages. Forever. So I don't want a new one. So I'm gonna fight it today. Whatever I got to do, whatever thing I got to throw at it. Because Thursday, I have to have a major dental thing done.
Oh.
And let me tell you, there are few things I hate worse in this world than having major dental work done while I have a raging cough.
Yeah, or well, I mean, the raging cough and not just that, but having the inability to breathe through your nose when you have to have your mouth gaping open. It's like you feel like you're constantly...
Yep. And he uses that rubber stopper thing.
Yeah.
I know not a lot of dentists don't use this.
Dental dam kind of thing?
Yeah. Except I think it's different than that. It's like a... What do you call it? Like a little... It's just like a little rubber, like door stopper, kind of. And you put that way in the back of your mouth on the other side, which keeps your mouth propped open. That's already kind of a harrowing...
Oh, God.
I know. I don't like it. It feels very claustrophobic and very... I panic. I don't like it.
Did you bite a hygienist at some point, and now they have to employ the rubber door stopper device to keep you from doing it again?
It's funny you ask, because I actually asked him last visit, like, why do you guys use that thing? And he says, oh, it's just people can't keep their mouth open for as long as we need them to. People keep drooping. So you're constantly saying, all right, you need to open your mouth more, or they're pushing it open or whatever, and you don't have a very good view of that rear molar. So he says, yeah, we just started doing that. And I said, great, I freaking hate it. I hate that thing, and I wish it would die.
You know what you could do?
yeah.
Maybe instead of the rubber door stopper, you could get John Travolta to come over to your dentist's office and hold your mouth open.
Yeah, why not that? Why not
Just
that?
pry your face open and keep your face pried open so it doesn't droop back closed.
Dude, what the hell is going on with him? I understand. So last year, little word flub.
Yeah.
No big
Little
deal.
Del Dazeem, sure, right?
Yeah, no big deal. Everyone screws up a word here and there. But this
you
year,
know, we lambasted him pretty severely for the last 12 months.
oh
playing
yeah,
that
yeah,
clip.
yeah. We were no. Yeah, look, we made some good fun with that, absolutely. But I didn't expect him to come out this year. I kind of thought there'd be a reference to it, and there,
Sure.
was. But I didn't know he was going to awkwardly grab people's faces and try to kiss them when they weren't expecting it. And he's
Right.
weird. He's a freaking weirdo. That guy. He's weird.
He's maybe going a little off the deep end.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
You know what he was trying to do?
Hmm.
He was trying to keep her face on.
Nice reference.
Thanks.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I don't like it when Black Widow, he was trying to kiss Black Widow, and she had a
Right.
look on her face like this is not a party. Didn't she?
That's right. This doesn't feel like a party.
Yeah.
I don't see how that's a party.
She was not interested in him kissing her at all.
No.
So I don't know. Yeah, he's a weirdo. Now I missed some of it, like his Adele Dazeem moment where he grabs her face.
Oh, you didn't see that part?
Missed that part. Yeah, I don't know where I was.
It was weirdly awkward. So, Neil Patrick Harris, who I thought did a great job. There were a lot of his jokes that just did not connect with the audience. And it might be because one of his first ones was fairly controversial. I think he came out and said, "Hey, welcome to this evening where we celebrate Hollywood's best and brightest."
Oh, he did. He should. Well, right on, brother.
Right after the opening number. And maybe even before, I can't even remember, but it was super early on. It was one of his first jokes, and it almost seemed like that kind of put the whole mood uneasily,
Gave a chilling effect to the crowd.
right, exactly. I thought the stuff that he was coming up with on the fly was really good. I found him to be really entertaining, and even on the jokes that were intentionally hammy, I thought that his delivery was really good. I love the guy. I think he's great.
Yeah, I like him. I think the opening number was amazing, and then I think the rest of it was just kind of average. But I don't blame him. Here's what I think. I think that, and by the way, by the time they were, I think after Foreign Film or something, that thing turns into a yawn fest. It just gets so
right.
slow.
There is the middle third,
Ugh,
right?
it's the worst. I had to not watch anymore. I had to tear away and put my stuff elsewhere. Besides, after Jared Leto's Jesus Suit came out, everything else was downhill after that. But yeah.
So Neil Patrick Harris comes out and he says, Benedict Cumberbatch, not only the coolest name in Hollywood, but also the way that John Travolta would introduce Ben Affleck.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
See, some of those jokes I thought were all right. Takes a lot of balls to wear that dress. I thought that was pretty funny.
Right.
Like there were moments of really funny stuff, but here's the problem. That venue sucks. And I don't mean the place. I mean the Oscars. It sucks for talented people to host. It sucks. It's never very good. I didn't like any last year. I don't like even when my favorite people in the world like Jon Stewart or David Letterman or somebody else hosts. I always walk away going, ugh, cringeworthy, hated it. Freaking, it's not ever good. And I think it's because it's just not, it just doesn't work. Like there's I understand what they're trying to do there. I get that they're all patting each other on the back, blah, 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 blah. But the jokes oftentimes, if they're not Bob Hope back in the 40s,
right,
I don't think they work.
I think the reason for that is because the hosts may change, but a lot of the writers don't. Like it's a fairly consistent pool of writers from my understanding. And so, even though you've got the new Neil Patrick Harris flavor, it's still the words that are being written by the same people who wrote Ellen DeGeneres' words and wrote Jon Stewart's words and Seth MacFarlane's words, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure, I guess so. It's just never good. And if you ask any of those guys, like any of those guys that say they'll never do it again, like ask Dave or John or those guys, and they're like, ugh, that was the worst. They like hate it. They hated their experience there. Nobody ever likes it. It's a huge boon to your career, but then you're just like, this is the worst thing ever. And how you do that for like 9 years, like freaking Billy Crystal did, I don't know. Like, it's a thankless job. But anyway, whatever. He was fine. Like, I don't walk away from this. I mean, the reviews are horribly mixed. Like, people are like, I'd give it a C. Well, it's not his fault. It's this show sucks. It just sucks. I mean, it's great because we want to celebrate film and artistic achievement and good acting and all this stuff. But if you really look at all the fringes of it and all the kind of ins and outs, and this might be a cold brewing in me that's making me grumpy about it, but it's kind of shitty. The Oscars are shitty.
Oh,
They're shitty.
they're not. I mean, it's a whole different thing. You can't look at it as the same entertainment you get from The Daily Show or the same entertainment that you get from Better Call Saul or something like that, right? I mean, you have to look at it as it's a thing in and of itself. It's its own little microcosm, and you have to laugh at the thing.
Do you have to,
that
though?
dome, within that biodome.
But do you have to? Do you
no,
have
you
to?
don't have to.
All right.
But I mean, that's the only way you're going to find it fun and enjoyable is if you keep it in that little microcosm.
I see.
And say,
Yeah.
"Wow, this is funny for the Oscars."
Sure. I guess there's a relative acceptance of whatever. And the red carpet stuff, I can't do that. That's impossible for me to sit through.
Yeah, I didn't see any of that this year.
Well, lucky you, because it's so bad. It's so bad. It's these people going, well, come here now. What dress are you wearing now? Oh, my gosh, you're so lovely on the... It's just the biggest pile of freaking just oozing, gooey, crappy crap at that beginning part.
Who are you wearing?
Yeah, that. I hate it.
Yeah,
That stuff
right.
is so not in my zone of reality that every time I hear it, it just makes me sick. It's like I just wanted to watch one of these movies instead of hearing people talk about it. But then the actual thing is always fun. For me, what's fun is all the ridiculous things that happen. Bad outfits on stage. Somebody flubbed something up.
Right.
Travolta kissing on everybody.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's the stuff that's not written. It's it's Neil Patrick Harris kind of walking through the aisles and interviewing Steve Carell, and Steve Carell coming up with a line on the fly or something like that, or at least seeming to.
I liked one of the backdrops looked like the place where Vader told Luke he was his father. That was cool.
Right.
I like that.
Right.
There were a few moments of bad set design and weird clothing, and I didn't see any of the Lady Gaga crap. I tuned out after that or before that.
Actually, that wasn't so bad. It was a very different performance for Lady Gaga, at least different from what she seems to get the most attention for, right? The meat dress and the big orbiting metal circles around her head and things like that. It was a very straightforward and very respectful homage to The Sound of Music. There was
Why was she wearing like Breaking Bad gloves? Like, what was that about?
Oh, that was she didn't do that during the Sound of Music thing. That's just
good.
what she came out with her little red Playtex. The outfits that some of these people wear. Holy crap! And the woman who was wearing the tribbles that were all strung together. I don't know if
those
you
were
saw
great.
that.
Oh yeah, I put up. I did a tweet that said "The Real Trouble with Tribbles" and a picture of that.
Oh, you
lady.
did? How funny!
Yeah. Because I was like, look at this lady. What's going on here?
We made the joke at the Oscar thing that when she showed up, there was only one of those on her dress.
Yeah. they had reproduced by then.
Multiplied, exactly.
Yeah, there's always something weird like that. It's fine. It is what it is. What matters most is the results. So let's run them down.
Sure.
Quick thoughts on this here. We got, I'll start at the bottom with supporting actress Patricia Arquette. You called it. You thought she was going to win. She did.
I feel like that one, there's a few in here that were just kind of locks.
Yeah.
Like supporting actress was a lock. And sadly, it was the only thing that Boyhood won. I mean, I was thinking we were going to get Birdman Best Picture and Linklater Best Director, or Boyhood Best Picture and Inarritu for director.
Yeah,
But
they usually split them like that when there's a
often,
toss-up like that.
But I mean, it was Linklater's idea to do this 12 Years a Boy thing.
Yeah.
And you think he should get some credit for that in the Best Director category, but I guess nominating is credit.
I suppose.
But not winning.
Whatever. In their little ecosystem, everybody wins. But eventually, they have all got to put their pants on one leg at a time and take a poop
right.
like the rest of us.
Exactly.
Patricia Arquette, I think I have a conspiracy theory that she already knew she was going to win because she's a medium. J.K. Simmons won for Yelling, Angry, Screaming Man.
Yes.
For
Well
that
deserved.
Whiplash deal. I hear he's great in that.
He is so great, and seeing the juxtaposition of his character in Whiplash versus the nice guy that he seems to be. Like, you want to have a drink with J.K. Simmons.
Sure you do. Yeah. You don't want to go to prison with him, though. I've seen Oz. I know what's up in there.
You don't want to work for him at the newspaper either.
Jay Jonah. Let's see. Animated feature went to Big Hero 6. That's great. I was very happy to hear that. A little surprised, though. I don't know why I thought that
really?
was. I don't know why I thought that wasn't the front runner, but I guess it was.
I think How to Train Your Dragon 2 was for a while was being touted as the front runner, and then one of the other ones, the lesser known ones, the Princess the Studio Ghibli film.
Oh.
The name of which I can't remember, was a front runner for a while, but it seemed like Big Hero 6 was the one that everyone was talking about for the longest time.
Well, that's great. Way to go for the guy who made the director also made Bolt, which was a pile of garbage.
Right. And cool to see not only Big Hero 6, but Feast, the little mini movie you saw before Big Hero 6.
Yeah, Feast was great.
Also win.
Yeah. I think you blame Lasseter for all the success, man. That guy knows what to do when he spreads himself around Disney a bit. Actress Julianne Moore for Best Actress for her Forgetting Sarah. What is it? What's her movie?
Still Alice.
Still Alice. There you go.
Yeah, kind of her, kind of combination of what everyone's saying a great job she did in that movie. We haven't seen it yet, but also kind of the 5 years of being nominated and not winning, getting her deserves.
Yeah. Redmayne won for Best Actor for his portrayal of one Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, he's great. He was great in that movie. So
cool guy.
That
Seems like a nice guy,
that was another
too.
surprise though, because everyone was saying Keaton was a lock. Keaton probably, was had his notes all memorized and his acceptance speech printed out and ready to go and all that stuff. But
red carpet, he was all jumpy. All jumping around. Yeah, looked like he was all just full of like crazy adrenaline and nervousness. And
did he almost spit out his gum?
No, but that would have been great. He yelled, "I'm Batman," and then ran. Like there was some
big old open mouth chewer, a big old open mouth gum chewer. Love being in the audience of the Oscars. Hey, put that camera on me some more.
He's got some energy for a 63-year-old guy, though.
Yeah, he does.
Man, it's kicking trash. All right, then you got your director Inarritu. Is that how you say his last name? Inarritu, whatever it is.
Yeah.
He won for Birdman, the Birdman there. And the Birdman won for Best Picture.
I think he even said at one point during one of his acceptance speech, everyone who worked on Birdman.
He said Birdman?
Birdman, yeah. We were saying, is that Ingmar or Ingrid Birdman?
Everyone who worked on Birdman. So Birdman ran away with everything, like just kind of creamed it. So I thought it was nice to play this right here. Whoops, where'd it go? How much of I haven't seen the movie. How much of a reference is the movie to the actual Birdman?
Oh, not at all.
There's no connection at all?
There's no connection, no. Birdman is this fictional character that he once played, and it's funny.
But he's not supposed to be that Birdman, though, right? Like that,
no,
the
it's not
character he
it's not
played.
the old Birdman.
Okay, all right. Interesting.
And he looks a little bit more like Hawkman than Birdman.
Yeah.
if we're really Hawkman with clothing on his chest, but and it's funny how little of that actually comes into play in the movie.
Right.
The whole Birdman thing. It's very, very misrepresented by the trailer as being more of a prominent thing. You're more watching this story about Regan Thompson and what's happening to him, and there's a very interesting theory. Randy and I talked a little bit about it before Film Sack yesterday about this theory, which I won't say here, but basically it's what's the way I can allude to it. There's a theory on the internet about the story of Birdman and what's happening in that movie.
Oh,
and,
yeah, that. Now I remember what you're talking about. Yeah.
And seeing clips that they showed yesterday, it's like, wow, that's a very, once you think of the movie with that theory in mind, there's a lot of things that do kind of fit it. And I want to see that thing again.
Well, I want to see it at all, so I will see it. I just need to see it. I didn't try to consume all the movies beforehand like you always do, but I'll end up catching up on all these things. It's interesting. There's an article from March of 2013, long time ago, a month before my last cold, where Michael Keaton is sadly, as the headline says, Michael Keaton sadly playing Birdman, not Harvey Birdman, and they go in to explain this whole thing about
Right.
how it's not the actual Birdman. And at the time, it looks like people were all upset and sad about this. I guess we'll have to ignore this movie. No big deal, they say in this article.
Oh, really?
Well, it was a year and a half earlier, so what do they know?
No kidding. Yeah, this is going to be some throwaway piece of crap that Michael Keaton does.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the dead person reel did not include Joan Rivers, and people flipped out.
Right. Or Jan Hooks or Elaine Stritch. But it did include a couple marketing executives. So that's good.
Yeah, there was a great tweet by one of the Riff Tracks guys. I forget which one said it, but he said, Joan Rivers, she was okay, but she's no marketing executive, which is pretty funny. Yeah, I don't know why you'd leave her out. I mean, somebody on, I'd said something on Twitter and somebody wrote back, says, yeah, man, she was in Spaceballs. I'm like, well, I think that there's more to her career than that she was in Spaceballs. I mean, yes, she was in Spaceballs.
Yeah, but she
was in more.
movie-wise, there wasn't a lot of movies where she was playing a role. I think there was some, Joan Rivers as herself in some Hollywood pokes fun at Hollywood where she's on the carpet going, "What are you wearing?"
Yeah.
But her, the people were posting the argument, well, she's more of a TV person, so you should expect to see her at the Emmys.
Let's see.
Referenced her at the Emmys.
Yeah, I'm looking through here. There's tons of stuff that is either TV or where you're right, where she plays
She's playing
herself.
herself.
I mean,
Yeah.
Shrek 2, she played Joan Rivers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Iron Man 3, she played Joan Rivers.
Right.
Let's see, that's Suddenly Susan's a TV show. There's a lot of TV in here.
I think she should have been in there. I think Jen Hooks absolutely should have been in there. Just if for no other reason than there's no basement at the Alamo.
Right. And she was in a bunch of films.
Right.
Like if you're gonna, I don't know. I don't understand how this works. Like there must be some. Like I was freaking out for a minute because I thought they forgot Harold Ramis, but that was last year.
That was last year, and we had to look up Philip Seymour Hoffman too, because we're thinking that he should have been mentioned there as well. And,
They totally got him last year. They ended
they
on
got him
I
last
think.
year because I think it was early February, late January, something.
He died right before the whole. Him and
Harold Ramis
were like a week apart or something.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, good times were had by all. And we'll talk. We have a couple of other little notes about the Oscars coming up, but that was it. It was fun. It was fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
By the end,
It was
though,
the
I'm just
Oscars.
pooped.
It's again, it was good for the Oscars.
I guess so. I was just pooped by the end. It was like, okay, I'm done with this. And there's just this smirky people in the audience. Like a joke could be, like that joke of keep your eye on the freaking box the whole night thing. That was dumb. That was
and
dumb.
the payoff wasn't as
No.
payoff
It
was-
wasn't unsatisfactory. It was terrible. It was stupid. We have to call out truth where we see it. That was garbage. That whole idea was dumb. And I'm not blaming it on him. He's fine. He's Doogie Howser. He can do no wrong. But the writing on that is just what a waste of my freaking time. And plus part of it is you're 3 hours into this thing and everyone's, ready to go home. The last thing you want to do is, have that joke.
I'm glad, and what they maybe need to do is they've got the Schmoskers, which
Yeah.
are the technical achievement awards that they always send the current hot starlet. Like she's the celebrity that gets to go over there, and this year it was Margot Robbie. But in past years, it's like whichever the hot starlet is. Anne Hathaway went one year, and it's just something to keep everybody showing up for the technicals. Maybe they need to move a few of those other technicals over to that, like film editing, sound editing, stuff like that. Maybe that would kind of revitalize that slog.
Yeah. And by the way, Polish guy who wouldn't get off stage, that guy's the man.
He is the man.
He is the man. I was
And
rooting for
he
him.
gave me a spot on my bingo checklist too. We played Oscar bingo, found some randomly generated bingo cards online, and recipient winner who refuses to leave the stage was on there.
Nice.
Weepy acceptance speech, addressing Meryl Streep from stage.
Yeah.
There were some great ones on that list.
They all do those things.
Yeah.
All right. There's that. What else? I guess that's it. Oh, hey, let's call Daryl because he's a guy.
Okay.
He's a dude.
We should do that.
Yeah. He has things to say about stuff. Let's see here. Just add him to the call. I know how. I've done this a few times. We're only 770 episodes into this show. I mean, that's all.
Wow.
Yeah. Think about that.
Ooh, so next week we'll have our 777 episode.
Oh, yeah. At some point, we should do something special. Probably not, but maybe we should. Probably not. I don't know. Oh, it is Stump a Trek Nerd, brought to you by...
What does a film school degree get you these days? A blog. What else? Stop by the Mock Films blog for the latest and not so latest film reviews, movie trailers, as well as recommends for some of the best film podcasts the internet has to offer. And yes, that includes you, FilmSec. So stop by mockfilmsblog.blogspot.com and follow me on Twitter at mockfilmsblog today. It may not be the first blog about films, but I do know that it won't be the last.
Nice. Daryl, are you there?
Can you hear me? Am I here?
I can.
Yeah,
you don't have headphones, so I know you're like doing you're talking on the regular handset, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't eat any two-handed food today.
No corn on the cob.
Okay, good. That's last. I don't think we've ever had that on the show, but wouldn't that be funny if we did?
That'd be great.
It would be. All
These
right.
people do not send us corn on the cob.
No, we're not encouraging this. Well, Daryl, it's good. It feels very covert for some reason. I don't know why I'm talking to you right now. It feels very covert.
It's like, hey, how you doing? It's the
Yeah.
down low.
Yeah. Do you have the secret word? Secret code? What's the secret word, Daryl?
Pants.
That's correct. That's correct. It was pants. Daryl's the Trek Nerd, comes on the show, does Star Trek trivia with us, does it every morning. We talk, we have a little fun, and we're going to do it today. Daryl, here's your question. Are you ready for your Star Trek question? Oh, before we do that, we got a mashup, I guess. Hold on. Mashup number 22 from Iceworm. Probably a bunch of ball references in here. You guys be the judge. Here it is. I'll play it. My favorite word is penis.
Watch your profanity.
You also like How I Hit Your Mother. What is it? What's it called?
Yeah, How I Hit Your Mother.
How I Hit Your Mother.
How I Tapped Your Mother is what that show's called, right?
They tapped him. I mean, they tapped that guy, I guess.
Wow, nice organ.
And lots of furry balls.
Mm-hmm. Lots of furry balls.
Oh, who let the barn door open?
Dinosaurs with freaking lasers.
Oh, it tastes way better than it smells.
If I broke my stick off right now, I'd go for it.
Yeah.
My stick firmly attached.
Mark, you really suck.
Go smoke crack.
Podcast so good, they smoke weed every day. There you go.
Smoke weed every day.
I think that must have been a Coverville thing.
That was a Coverville thing, yeah.
I don't remember that one. I'm like 2 episodes behind. What am I missing? Probably the last 2, but like I'm missing something awesome, I'm sure.
If you're 2 episodes behind, then you are certainly missing the last 2.
All right, great.
Yeah, that was the most recent one where I did some Dr. Dre covers.
Oh, well, very nice.
Yeah.
I like when Dre comes in and throws down sick beats.
I haven't forgot about Dre.
Yeah, he's all right with all his money. Daryl, it's good to have you for your question here. Let's do your question. It's also an audio question. So we want to ask you this. What episode of The Next Generation does this clip come from? Here you go.
You will die without honor.
All right, short and sweet.
Oh, who knows? Every stupid Klingon
single
episode.
Worf episode has that one.
That's pretty good. All right, I like this question a lot. Here's your possible answers. A, Samaritan Snare. B, Sins of the Father. C, Bloodlines. Or D, The Defector. Samaritan Snare, Sins of the Father, Bloodlines, or The Defector. Like 2 of those jump out at me, and I don't know the answer because I haven't looked. But 2 of those jump out at me for some reason. I wonder if
too.
they probably are. That's probably happening to you. All right, I think we're gonna make an attempt here to do this here. Hold on.
Are you hungry?
Aren't you hungry?
What's a foodie?
We have this box still, or bag, or whatever. The thing we haven't tried. Where is it? I think we should do these little packets of the Korean things. Yep. Ginseng candy, it says. Although I'm a little concerned because it says ginseng candy and then maybe below that.
Where's that?
That isn't good, is it, to say maybe?
Something in your eyes that says maybe. Is it the one that's like a gold packet with
red trim?
Red trim on the end?
Yep,
Okay.
that's it.
All right.
You see those, Daryl? They're smaller than the others.
Doesn't it say Black Thunder?
No.
What?
Or am I in the wrong bag even?
You're in your
You're apparently at the Outback.
Yeah, you're in your 70s blaxploitation film collection.
Oh, that's got Kit Kats in it. Is that the wrong bag?
Oh yeah, that's the one you and I have that Brian doesn't have.
Oh, okay.
The Japanese stuff. We're talking the Korean ones. This would have had the
Oh, the Korean ones. Oh, okay, the one with the cans in it.
Oh my gosh, I'm definitely getting a cold. I can feel I'm getting a cold. I'm gonna go push a zinc up my nose. Gosh dang it! I don't want to get a cold.
I think you'll be unsuccessful if you shove a zinc up your nose.
You don't think those will do it?
I'm just saying, I don't think that'll solve anything.
Well, I do it rectally now. You're saying a nose is no
never
better?
mind then. As long as you're doing that. Then,
Okay.
Yeah, you're all
All right.
good.
They're big, like they're horse-sized pills. They go right up your rectum. All right, Daryl. This says, and the little blue stripe above the red trim says HN. Did you find it?
Well, mine says NH. Unless I hold it upside down, that does say HN.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Wow.
Weird.
Weird.
That's really weird. Also, if you did it like an HNH, it would be the same up or down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I want to make a company called H&H.
Or
Unless
NHN.
you held it the 90 degrees, then it would say IZI.
Oh,
Right.
look at that. No, that's not a Z. Oh, it is a Z.
Yeah, it'll be a Z.
Oh, weird. All right, well, I don't even know what to think anymore. All right, well, let's open this up. It says maybe ginseng, maybe it says.
I don't even see where you're seeing English writing on here.
Well, it's on the baggie they came in.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so they hand wrote it.
It's like a lozenge.
Smells like dirt.
There's no scent at all.
But I mean, isn't
Oh, there's a
ginseng
scent.
isn't ginseng basically a root, right?
Oh, no, this is that dirt smell again.
Yeah. It's a root, right? Am I right about that?
I dropped mine on the floor, so I'm getting another one.
Oops. Your cat
That
doesn't.
one
Your,
rolled-
yeah.
That one rolled under a computer. Or rolled under a.
Oh, why does it have to smell like
oh,
dirt?
this one's a different color. Oh, and this one's got what's it got on it?
It smells like dirt.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
got plastic. Hold
It's
on.
gonna taste like
wrapped in
dirt.
Plastic.
When's the last time you ate something that smelled like dirt that didn't also taste like dirt?
Yeah, it totally smells like dirt.
All right, here we go. Ugh.
Yep, tastes like dirt too.
Yep.
Oh, have we done this already?
Into the
This
can.
Feels like we've done this before.
I just think a lot of Korean candy tastes
Actually,
like
the initial taste is dirt, then it turns into more of a rose dirt flavor,
Dirt from the rose garden. Instead of regular dirt.
like dirt from a rose.
that. Rose
La,
dirt.
la, 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 la.
All right, that wasn't. I don't like it. That's not good. Not a
Yeah.
fan. Not a fan. I won't play the barf sound, but it's still gross. Oh, and the Brian did it naturally.
No, I just spit it.
Oh, okay, great.
Oh, jeez.
Ugh, Daryl.
How can you do that on command?
I don't know.
It's easy.
Yeah, when you try. All right, Daryl. Let's. What are we doing? Oh yeah, birthdays. Who's having a birthday? Anybody?
Well, that would be Majel Barrett. She would have been 70. No, she passed away at age 76 in 2008. She was Nurse Chapel and the ship's computer.
Yes, computer. So when she was only computer in TNG and forward on TV, and then never the movies, right? Or did the next?
She was the movies too up till 2009. She even did the voice then.
Oh, really?
Well,
Oh.
not the old cast stuff though, right? All generations forward, right?
Yeah, I
'cause-
think she did TOS.
Because I have
also.
a memory of the original. Well, no, because TOS had the man voice, didn't they?
Well, some of it was.
It was like, we are computing.
Yeah.
Our idea of a computer in 1963 is really stupid. Like that.
Yeah, I don't remember her doing the voice until Next Generation.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
she did.
yeah, you're probably right.
Well, that's all well and good. What matters more is whether or not you know what this is.
You will die without honor.
Okay, and which one of those movie or episodes do you think that came from in the Next Generation portion of Star Trek history? A. Samaritan Snare. B. Sins of the Father. C. Bloodlines. Or D. The Defector.
Who knows? A was the the dumb guys.
Oh yeah, the
Here
dumb
we could
guys.
Go, those guys.
They were the dumb guys. Oh, the right.
Why can't I remember
The
their
the
names?
not Binars.
Packlids?
Packlids.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Packlids.
Yeah, that was
He wouldn't have said that. I don't think he would have said that to them.
no.
Because that's just stating the obvious.
Right. They have no honor. Those guys.
What is honor?
Does it help
Why
us
do I
go?
want this?
Will it make us go?
Their entire existence is based on things that make them go.
Right.
So dumb.
I'm gonna. It's between B and C. Those are the ones that jump out.
All right.
And I think B. This is so hard that I think you would make it slightly easier instead of also making the answer tricky. So I'm gonna say B.
All right. You zeroed in on B. Let's find out if B is the correct answer. Uh-oh. Samaritan Snare, the first one.
Really?
Yeah, I know, it surprised me too. Jordy gets
Worf,
kidnapped.
I would have
said Sins of the Father or Bloodlines easily. I don't know if this were me, I would have gotten it wrong. Jordy gets kidnapped by some Packlids. Jordy contacts the Enterprise, speaks to them in code. Worf tells Jordy he will die without honor and that he will never reach the 24th level of awareness. Worf tells Jordy about the number 24, and Jordy figures out how to use it to disable the Packlids' weapons. There is no clip. That's just the story.
Oh. Yeah, the clip. You already heard the clip.
You heard the clip. You heard the clip. Well, that's crazy. I wouldn't have gotten that one either. So I'm not going to hold this one against you all that hard. But this does mark the day where I've forgotten how many you've gotten wrong now for the year. So
I think it's like 3 or 4
3?
or something like that. It's not a lot. It's totally not a lot.
We're to that point, though, that it's no longer a number that we have fresh in our heads. And now you're just, whatever you are. You just are who you are, Daryl. Be who you want to be. That's the question. There's your answer. Daryl's the Trek Nerd on Twitter. You can find him at This Week in Trek at thisweekintrek.com, as well as the Grumpy Cast. And he will now play a game with us, I'm sure with great preparation. Nothing to do with monkeys or trees. What is it, Daryl?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and I don't know what was happening with me on Friday, but here it is.
All right.
That's when I wrote these. Rejected Star Trek series or 1959 Western starring William Shatner.
I don't know if I have a theme for that. That's amazing, dude. All right. Hold on. Maybe I do have a theme. No, I don't have a theme. All right.
Rejected Star Trek series titles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or 70s William Shatner
Westerns.
TV show.
Or
50s.
1959 Western.
Oh, 59.
Wow. Okay, this is a pretty specific list.
Yeah.
All right.
He was in some stuff back then. All right, go ahead.
The Beginning.
So Star Trek The Beginning.
Star Trek The Beginning.
Uh-huh.
Or is that a Western that...
Or is it called The Beginning? Starring
somebody-
William Shatner.
somebody in Daryl's office just coughing.
Yeah, that was great. I like that. Flemmy.
Maybe it was a hint.
Oh, maybe it was a hint.
I like Star Trek The Beginning. I could see that.
Yeah, they're trying to say, oh, warp drive was discovered.
Right.
And then they
right.
probably evolved into Enterprise or something.
Something like that.
I'm going to agree. We say Star Trek.
Well, this William Shatner show was scrapped in favor of the JJ Universe in 2009 and it would have covered events between Enterprise and TOS.
Oh, weird. Really?
Interesting. Huh.
I would have done. Why didn't they go ahead and make that? They don't have to call it The Beginning, but that would. You're telling me.
If there was Enterprise before it, The Beginning probably wouldn't have been.
But are you telling me we got that close to a new series and it didn't happen? Is that what you're telling me?
Mm-hmm.
Damn it. When are we going to get a proper Star Trek series? It's where it belongs. Belongs on TV. It's serialized television, not movies. J.J. Abrams, you bastard. Oh, that's a reminder that he has to go now.
Television highlights of the news of yesteryear.
All right, let's do some morning news brought to you by...
A fan of science fiction? Check out the Kickstarter for the novel Fabricated Dreams by fellow tadpooler J.M. Dudley. When her father is murdered, Fina must return to the virtual reality he created and find his killer before the killer finds her. It's got action, adventure, cyborgs, flying cats. Even better, the novel is finished and you can get the ebook for as little as $5. To read the first chapter or support the novel, search Fabricated Dreams on Kickstarter today.
It seems all right. All right, let's check this out here. By the way, today, well, I'll tell you. I'll save this for later in the week. I got a little surprise for everybody.
Really?
I'll save it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll save it. Steven Spielberg. Do you know him? You're familiar with his work?
I'm familiar. Yes.
Okay. All right. He has thanked God at the Oscars more than anyone else. I love Data.
No.
Yeah.
No, he was thanked.
Oh, thanked more than God.
More than
That's
God.
what
So
I
more
said
people
that wrong.
thank Steven Spielberg than God. At the
Yeah,
Oscars.
they have thanked him more than God at the Oscars.
I like that though.
Yeah. It'd be great if that was also true in sports and stuff, where it'd be like, when they always say they want to thank. First of all, I just want to thank
Right.
Jesus. I wish they
Right,
just
it was
thank
that
Steven
Steven
Spielberg.
Spielberg.
Yeah. Perhaps proving that Hollywood is near godless place. Vocative recently watched all 1,396 Oscar acceptance speeches. Good Lord.
Oh wow! So this is like
Ugh.
over time. Holy crap!
That's a lot. Anyway, Ever Given. This is Ever Given or recorded, I suppose.
Okay.
Tallied up all the name drops, and God came in 6th place. Who is bigger than God of the Oscars? Turns out Peter Jackson, George Lucas, James Cameron, Harvey Weinstein, and Steven Spielberg. And if they update the numbers for Monday or for yesterday, Spielberg would be number 1, then Weinstein at 2, and then God at 6. Right below God, by the way, Fran Walsh and Peter Jackson's wife. How is that? Really?
Well, Fran Walsh is Peter Jackson's wife because she was what was she? Costume? No, what was she? She did something co-produce.
Oh,
Though she had some involvement, and so they were saying, you want to thank Peter Jackson and Fran Walsh or something like that when they were.
so a lot of special effects winners
accepted.
over the years and things like that, probably, I guess.
Yeah, but wow, I mean, it's pretty crazy that the 5 names that are above God in the list are all within the last 30 years, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's not.
That's a good point.
And there were 50 years of Oscars before before the 30 years that these guys would have had their prevalence. So,
Well, most of
Very
them,
interesting.
it's interesting because most of the people who thank people are only thanking individuals that nobody would double up on. Like, I want to thank my wife. Well, sure, everybody says that, but they're
well,
all
sure,
different
yeah.
women, Like,
hopefully,
yeah, one would hope. But yes, the fact that I don't know. I love data like this. I find it just fascinating to me because you can assign a weird arbitrary meaning to things like this, but I think that's interesting, and it also just shows you the impact that a guy like Spielberg or Cameron or Weinstein have on the industry.
I'm curious. I want to see if they've got a longer list than just the.
Oh, if it
Yeah, here we
goes
go.
past
Okay,
the
so Fran
top
Walsh,
6.
co-writer, producer of Lord of the Rings and Hobbit films. Sheila Nevins, president of HBO's documentary programming. Francis Ford Coppola, so we start getting a little older there. Martin Scorsese, Saul Zaentz. It'd be interesting to look even further because I'd be curious as to who the most common pre-1970 acceptance speech recipient person would be, right? I mean, would be like John Ford or
Yeah, who would that be back then?
Mhm.
John Ford's a big one. You're probably right. That's probably the
Yeah.
one.
Alfred Hitchcock. He never won, but he was an inspiration to a lot of directors. So would a lot of directors who win say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I thank people like Alfred Hitchcock and Capra and stuff." like
Frank
that.
Capra, yeah. That's a
Mhm.
good one. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I like that kind of crap.
The Academy would be number 1.
Right?
I would like to thank the Academy.
We went back. What did we did for FilmSec? We went and listened to John Wayne's one and
Streisand,
only
yeah.
Oscar speech, which was interesting. Kind of nice and succinct and to the point. None of these this year were too crazy. In fact, they
No.
were all pretty good. Like they were all, what's the word? They were less awkward and more meaningful, I
They were
suppose.
gracious. A lot of people had their stuff planned out a lot better, so they got up there and actually said stuff that wasn't rambling and incoherent. Eddie Redmayne was, the emotion on that guy's face was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Kind of a hell of a year, that guy.
Yeah, he did.
Went from kind of nothing to this and
Mhm.
no time flat. Well, in other news, hey, wearable fitness trackers are all the rage here in the States.
Sure.
Well, I give you the world's first edible fitness tracker. It's a banana.
Okay.
You'd think Apple might come up with this first, but no. Oh, speaking of Apple, real quick. Did you see? Okay, so I noticed sometimes this happens. It's usually out of complete happenstance and nobody planned it this way, but both Samsung and Apple ran ads during the Oscars, and they both were focused on filmmaking, using their devices and technologies to make films. So if you didn't see them, the one for Samsung was this over-the-top, totally unrealistic lady turns her house into a movie studio kind of ridiculous commercial. It was funny, but it wasn't, it wasn't realistic. It was just like, oh, you went from buying a phone to now you have green screens in your house and a staff of 50, and you're telling your husband you got to go pick up whatever, and you're making a movie. Like, it's kind of silly. The Apple one showed a bunch of students making student films, and it had Martin Scorsese narrating over the top of it. Here's what I would say, people at home, with your weird loyalties to your brands. The Apple one made way more real life sense to me. The Samsung one just annoyed me. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, it did. And I'm not anti-Samsung, but that commercial annoyed me. But the Apple one went, yeah, it would be good for kids to have these devices in school and make cool movies and learn the basics of filmmaking and taking the advice of voiceover Scorsese. It was cool. Like, it actually rung true. Like, there was something about that was genuine to me, regardless of the device. Who gives a poo about that? But the other ad was just like, oh, make a movie in my house. Hey, look at the green screen. Hey, look at the special effects guys I hired. Look at this. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, you didn't see those, did you?
I didn't see those. We fast forwarded through the commercials to play catch up because we ate dinner and it pushed us about 35, 40 minutes into the Oscars. So we were able to, it was great. We were able to zip through all the commercials and catch up right as they were doing the Best Picture thing at the end.
Nice. Oh, and for those who wonder how I saw the Oscars, because I'm a cord cutter.
Yep.
HD TV antenna on my TV.
I was going to say, like terrestrial, just get it over the...
Get all your local channels and your whatnot there.
Sure.
All right. Anyway, this banana. Here's the deal. Dole Food Company. You know Dole?
Yeah.
Yeah, they make this
pineapple.
Sure.
Right.
They're the real Pineapple Express. Hey, did those two chuckleheads present at all yesterday?
No, they weren't even visible there. I even had I didn't have James Franco on my list. Somebody had it on their bingo card, James Franco, and he wasn't even there.
Yeah.
Neither was there was somebody else who was on my bingo card. I was like, well, they never even showed up. Oh, Anne Hathaway.
Yeah.
Not even an appearance, not even a cut to in the audience.
I think they've all been played out. We're done with them. Bring those guys out and bring in the new crew. Anyway, Dole has made a wearable fitness tracker, and they used it this Tokyo Marathon. It's a wearable banana. It's no regular banana. You strap it to your wrist. You use it to monitor your pace and heart rate. The fruit is equipped with GPS sensors and LED lights. Even more, it can display encouraging messages sent by Twitter for people who want to cheer you on.
I've got to see a picture of this thing. This sounds like an Onion article, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it's real, turns out. It tells when you've completed the race. After crossing the finish line, the concerned banana will remind its wearer rather, to refuel. It is a banana, of course, it says here. Weird.
This can't be.
It's true. Dude, Japan,
it doesn't look like this mock-up, though, with the LEDs going down the length of the banana.
It totally does, and that is Japan for you right there. That is the essence of Japan these days.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
It's crazy.
The Dole.
Okay, this is totally crazy.
Dole of Japan.
I want to see this little video they've got. I want to see actual footage of this thing.
I just think it's
with lights going through the peel of the banana.
Is the banana the best thing at the end of a race? It seems like a strange choice, but I guess, I don't know. A lot of potassium in there, I suppose.
Yeah, sure.
All right, fine. I'm going to take your word for it.
Look at that. Yeah. So that's nuts.
It is nuts.
There's freaking video of this stupid thing.
It's Japan, man. They're crazy over there, the things they do and make. And I love them for it.
We're going to be there in June or July.
Oh, really? For what?
Well, we promised Tristan when he was in elementary school or junior high school, he said, I want to go to Japan. We said, all right, when you graduate, we're going to take you to Japan.
Yeah.
So assuming that he does graduate this coming June,
yeah,
which we have no reason to believe he won't, then we're planning, we're setting up the trip right now. We're like picking the things we want to make sure we do.
You gonna smuggle out of there some Kit Kats because they're only good there?
Dude, I'm packing a suitcase within a suitcase so that I can bring a lot of stuff back. Toys, chocolates, candy, whatever. Yeah. I want to make sure I bring back a ton of crap.
That's awesome. That's what you want.
Going to the Studio Ghibli Museum. We're going to probably to Tokyo Disneyland to see that business.
That's great. Well,
then and we're going to look for the banana while we're there.
We're going to
see if we can get a wearable LED light, Twitter feed, RSS banana.
Yeah. And there's also some crazy video game stuff you need to go to, and I don't remember the name of this place, but there's some place in Tokyo that is like the end-all, be-all.
Oh, yeah.
Multi-floor, every game console made in history, every game available. Well, it's in Japan anyway. It's supposed to be amazing. So,
dude, if you remember it, then
I'll figure it out.
Figure it out and tell me, because
Okay.
I'm all over that business.
And Tokyo, man, still one of the cleanest cities I ever set foot in. I couldn't believe how clean it was. All the taxi drivers wore white gloves and had doilies on their seats. Like, I don't know what was going on in Tokyo, but it was awesome. That and Hong Kong, just clean, beautiful city.
Cool. Oh, very cool.
And I wasn't there very long, but the beds are too short. That's something you'll notice.
It's funny because that's like hotel rooms are really small and beds are short.
Yeah, real short. I hated that. HelloFresh.com is bringing back fresh to your freshness, your fresh life, your fresh prints. Go to HelloFresh.com today. Check out what makes fun cooking again. Cooking fun again is what I meant to say. Every week, their chefs create great recipes. You pick the ones you want. They send you the ingredients. And before you know it, those farm fresh ingredients are made into a meal that you made in 30 minutes or less. Visit HelloFresh.com. Use the code MorningStream for 50% off your next order. Look at this. 50 Shades of Grey makes people crazy. I'm still
not in a woo woo kind of way.
Yeah. It's a bona fide I heard somebody yesterday suggest this, because most of the fans of that series of the books and the film goers, after doing like head counts and polls and stuff, it's all women, dude. Like, they're going in big crowds of like 12 women. All their friends get together and go see 50 Shades of Grey. The dudes are staying home. They're like, I don't want to see that thing. And the women are going in droves. They are the primary audience of the book. I'm sure some men somewhere have read the book. But have we discovered porn for women? Is that what this is?
I guess, right? I mean, I guess it's porn for a certain demographic of women who picked up the book, read it, and and enjoy it. I mean, it's a very romance novel-y kind of thing, isn't it? With sex in it.
Well, it is, but apparently, so the thing I was hearing yesterday on this podcast was that like Harlequin romance style stuff is on the down, and like nobody's reading that stuff anymore. Like nobody cares about that stuff. So the traditional, he swept me off my feet, and that stuff's done.
His bulging chest muscles were trying to poke through his shirt.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So
See,
now
that's how well I know.
Yeah, your novel is shit. I would not read your novel. His bulging chest muscles were poking out of his shirt. That's a bad book. But
it would still have what's his face on the cover.
Yeah. Can't believe it's not butter. What's his name? Freaking Fabio. There you go.
Fabio.
He's still kicking it. But anyway, it's just this interesting idea that, and I don't mean this in some lascivious bunch of the dirty ladies. I don't mean that. I just mean they found their brand of what gets them going, and it's in the form of this thing. And most dudes are just like, ugh, I don't want to go to that.
Right.
I don't want to go. I like me. I don't care. I don't care about this.
But I'll be waiting for you when you get back home.
Well, anyway, get your fan fiction on when it comes to this, because a Florida mall had to change its policies after hundreds of teenagers stormed the movie theater because they wanted to see 50 Shades of Grey. The estimates of the mob size vary, but may have contained as many as 900 youths attempting to swarm the mall. Orange County deputies told Click Orlando. This is a website, I guess.
Yes, yep.
Click Orlando. Come on. Anyway, around 200 of them managed to get into the movie theater. The stampede was an apparent attempt to circumvent the policy of not allowing minors under 17 to see an R-rated flick without an adult accompanying them. Well, that's a weird way to do that. Anyway, West Oaks Mall announced. Did they all coordinate beforehand, I wonder? I mean,
I'm sure it was like a
flash mob,
Twitter or Facebook thing where they're like, come on, we're gonna storm the mall, we're gonna go see our movie.
Yeah.
They can actually not push the button on the projector that says play, right? Until they get you guys all out.
Right. They don't have to play the movie. There's no law.
The smarter thing would have been to buy tickets for SpongeBob and then go into the SpongeBob theater until 5 minutes before 50 Shades and then move from one theater to the other.
Yeah. and then be bored by 50 Shades of Grey because it's not fun for a 16-year-old. You know what you ought to see? Go see The Kingsman. There's a rated R movie you should see.
Right, there you go. Yeah.
We're going to go this
well,
week.
these teenagers, they don't really have any other way of seeing porn.
I guess
There's
not.
no
There's
other,
just no other easy
accessible
access
way.
Yeah. It's so hard today. Look, has there been a harder time than 2015 to find free naked people on the internet?
It's hard out there for a tween.
It's real rough. Not that they should be doing any of that. Anyway, here's a note about our friends at tweakedaudio.com. Tweakedaudio.com, providing earbuds, headphones, accessories, the kind you want, the kind you need, and have been for a long time. They've been with us for a long time, and we love these guys. Trust me when you trust me. What? No, trust me when I say go to tweakedaudio.com, and they will take care of you. Lifetime warranty on everything. And remember, these are the guys who, when I went into a men's bathroom and my earbuds flopped out of my shirt and smacked some guy's wee standing next to me, they replaced them without any questions asked, and that wasn't their fault. They're amazing that way. We love them. Use the code STREAM for a third off your price. That's STREAM at checkout for 33% off. We're going to take a break. When we come back, major spoilers time with Steven. He'll be here. And your emails, which will be fun as well. All right, Brian, let's do some music before all that.
Sounds great. Nick wrote in, said, "Hey, Scott and Brian, this request is for my birthday, which falls on February 23rd, but the song I'm requesting pertains to my last semester of college. It's hard for me to pick a favorite song of all time, but the traditional Scottish song, The Parting Glass, is a huge contender for me. It currently speaks to me as a senior in college who will have to bid farewell to some of my favorite people as we all move on to the real world. The song is about spending time with your friends, having a last drink together, and reminiscing about all the great times you've had. For this request, I'm choosing my favorite version by the Waylon Jennys, but if anyone's interested in more, Ed Sheeran does a fantastic job with the song as well. Thanks, Scott and Brian, for being with me my entire college career. That's right, you started the morning stream before I went to college, and now I'm graduating. Time really flies.
Whoa.
Love the show, Nick."
That's weird.
No kidding, right?
Yeah, I don't like that.
Whoa is right.
Mm.
So the Wailing Jennies do a great version of this. This was also a song that was featured on The Walking Dead, and Beth and Maggie sing it in one of those episodes. The version by the Wailing Jennies, it's so hard to say, Waylon
I know,
Jennings.
you want to say Waylon Jennings, don't you?
Let's say Waylon Jennings,
yeah,
right.
That's hard.
It comes from their 2004 album, 40 Days. It is a traditional Scottish cover. It is called The Parting Glass.
Well, let's play it now. We'll be back in a minute with all that other crap I talked about, so...
trustworthy ninjahood right here, man. It's about true passion for the music, for the love, for the family, for everyone here. Just united, you know. We're here on our Juggalo Islands, where boom, it's paradise, and we get 1 week out of the year to be home.
Well, come to see a fat old man.
It's got one built in. I haven't connected the TV to it yet, but I did. It's got a little shelf where my iPad fits nicely, so
Yeah.
I watched Arrow while I worked out this morning.
Nothing wrong with that. Little Arrow working out. That's something that our next guest might appreciate. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Steven Schleicher joining us. Hello, Steven.
Hello. I need to do more working out.
Yeah, man. Me and you both.
More so you than me.
Well, I've been pretty good in the last year or two, but in the last few weeks I've been kind of terrible. So I've got to get back on the crap.
I was going good up until I hit my big sickness back in October, and then since then it just hasn't been able to get back on the horse, so to speak.
It's hard. Well, Brian was making fun of me last night or yesterday when we were doing Film Sack because I admitted to having a craving for and eating 2 McDonald's McDoubles the other day.
Shocking.
Yeah, 2 of them at once.
2 of them.
Yeah, 2 of them at once, like some
For
kind of
shame.
crazy person. I don't know what I was thinking or doing there. Lately I've just been craving like the crappiest of junk foods.
Does that not flare up your?
It sure can. That's why I got to knock it off. Like, what are you doing
Good.
there, Scott? Like, it's a bad deal. So if I want to maintain A, my girlish figure, and B, my desire to never go to the doctor again ever.
Your lower intestine.
Yeah, I'd sure like to not be eating those, but there I was eating 2 of those, and they're not that big. They're like $1.50, and they're like the size of a regular cheeseburger. They're not very big. So this isn't like a quarter pounder or some nightmare like that.
Right.
But they're still, whatever. 2 of those, it's 740 calories. What am I doing? It's like half my day already eaten away. Anyway, it's good to have you on, Steven. And
Thank you.
It's major spoilers time. That means we get to talk about some of the coolest things happening lately in the world of pop culture, media, comics, and more. And one of them is late breaking news that San Diego Comic-Con, if you didn't already get your tickets, well, you're screwed because they went in an hour.
Not even in an hour. So the tickets went on sale 9 a.m. and I don't remember if that was 9 a.m. West Coast time, but 9 a.m. they went on sale online, and by 9:59 a.m. they tweeted out, Comic-Con 2015 badges have sold out. Thank you for support. The rest of you,
that's crazy.
You're screwed.
Wow.
That's really fast. Yeah. You know what that tells me?
What's that?
That I don't want to go to San Diego Comic-Con because that's too many people.
Well, part of the problem is, they're capped. I mean, if this were a huge thing taking place in Times Square, they could pack 1 million people in there. But I think they're limited to 130,000 people, 160,000, something like that, that can get into that convention center because of space issues, fire marshal laws, all that kind of stuff. The big problem is, I'm sure they would love to sell more tickets for a nonprofit organization. They'd love to make more money. But the problem is they don't have enough space. Now, they had signed a multi-year contract back in, I want to say, 2011 with the city and the convention center, with the understanding that the convention center was going to expand. And the convention center and hotel people got together and proposed a $520 million expansion. But then, I want to say in August, that was deemed unconstitutional or against fair trade or something by the 4th District, because it was the hotel groups and the convention center and not the city who was wanting to set this tax increase. And so that's been put on hold. So San Diego Comic-Con, will this be a final year for them? I don't know. I think they're through this year as their final year unless they've re-signed.
Well, we've talked about this. We've talked about this almost.
Yeah.
I feel like every year this comes up, and it's always usually that they've they've caved and there have been concessions or whatever, and they've
Mhm.
signed for whatever. But if this is the first time where they kind of have an open hole at the end,
Yeah.
where do they go? Vegas?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
That's
no,
the- that's the-
that's the one that I've always said for years, since I don't know, 8 years now. I've been saying Las Vegas is the place to go.
Mhm.
But the guy who's in charge of David Glasner, who's in charge of Comic-Con International, says they want to keep it in Southern California, which means Los Angeles or Anaheim. And CCI has moved the WonderCon convention from San Francisco down to Anaheim over the last couple of years because the San Francisco space was undergoing renovations and they couldn't get the space that they needed. So they're like, well, we're just moved down here temporarily, right? But they've been there for like 2 or 3 years now.
Well, it's funny because they're last week it was announced that they're tearing down the Riviera on the Strip to make more convention space. And one of the things the guy was saying that is heading this thing up is that he's got his eye on a bunch of other conventions across the country that he wants to try to bring to Vegas, including Comic-Con.
In a news article, I think this was at the San Diego newspaper, it says proposals we are receiving are very interesting. It's not an easy decision.
Yeah, that means there's stuff going on.
I think Las Vegas would be a perfect place, especially with the main Las Vegas Convention Center. I mean, it can hold. You guys have all been there. It's amazingly big,
enormous. Yeah,
and it's it's close to the rail system, so you can get anywhere on the Strip that you need to go.
Yeah,
there's plenty of walking. The weather's nice. The only bad thing is it's a little bit further to get the Hollywood types out to Las Vegas than it is down to San Diego.
Yeah,
I think it's about 45 minutes one way, an hour the other way by plane. So
Right.
a little bit longer may be too much for some of these people.
Some of them, yeah, because there's the whole get to the airport, wait a bunch of time, get on the plane. Like there's all that stuff that you don't have when you're just driving across town in Orange County. But
yeah, definitely.
But it's funny because I don't know the name. So there's a branding problem here because SDCC is a big name.
The legal title is Comic-Con International : San Diego.
Yeah.
Everyone's just changed it around, and in fact, they've embraced the name change to San Diego Comic-Con, which is where Salt Lake City Comic-Con got into issue with trademark and legalities this past year.
Sure.
But CCI International does WonderCon. CCI, what's the other one that they do? One other one that I forget off the top of my head. But ideally, when it was set up, CCI International was supposed to be able to be like what Wizard World is right now, where it was Chicago, New York, New Orleans, wherever, Denver. But they've kind of just been pretty content sticking around in San Diego and bringing in $177 million to the local economy each and every year.
And so if it moves, my whole point is it'll just sound like, I mean, they'll do their best to market it and make sure people understand the shift, right? And there will be no way to avoid it if you're at all following it, but it will become Las Vegas Comic-Con,
And put your conspiracy theory hat on. Maybe this is why they're so adamant about the SLCC not using that branding, because it is going to be too confusing when people see SLCC and think, oh, San Diego, well, they don't do it there anymore. They must be doing it in Salt Lake. Let's go there instead of Las Vegas.
There's always a bunch of dummies. So
yeah, it definitely are.
Why not? All right.
Welcome to Monday.
We'll see what happens. I'm far more likely to be interested in San Diego Comic-Con if it moves to Vegas. So I would make an attempt one year to go down there if I could.
Yeah.
If it was there. Jason Momoa is Aquaman. We knew that, but we didn't know how it would look or what the feel might be. It turns out they're going with 50 Shades of Grey for their poster. And
I thought this was a joke when it first got passed around, but
this was direct from Zack Snyder's Twitter account, sent out at 12:01 a.m. on Friday morning.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I just happened to be sitting right next to the computer when his tweet popped up. I was like, "What is this?" And I had to double check and make sure somebody wasn't joking.
Mm-hmm.
But no, this is the deal.
It looks more like the Social Network poster than it does the 50 Shades of Grey. Like,
exactly.
You can't be the ruler of the seas without making a few enemies.
Exactly.
It's interesting that they're still going with that very monochrome desaturated color with everything, because if you look, there are gold highlights throughout that suit, and if you were to take that into Photoshop and boost the saturation, I think you might find some very interesting things going on. I think some people have done that with Wonder Woman and said that brownish, reddish costume is not such the case if you go in and tweak with some of the settings.
Well, the catchphrase is interesting. It's unite the seven.
Yes, not untie the seven.
Right. Don't untie the seven. Just unite them. And one would assume, I think we're all assuming, although I know there's other theories, but the assumption is that we're referring to the Justice League and
correct
getting them all together. And
it's not the Seven Seas.
Yeah, that's one of the theories I heard, was that there were like 7 seas, 7 kingdoms, 7 something, that it would be specific to his movie. But I don't think it's got to be about the Justice League. Although the Justice League can vary in number, it seems like you could get your 7 important ones though in there.
Well, we know that that's what they're working towards, right? I mean, because we have Dawn of Justice is part 1, and we know that Cyborg, Flash, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman, that's 6, have all been cast. The question is whether they're going with Green Lantern or somebody else in this.
Yeah, I hope this is good, and what the same as all DC Warner Brothers productions since Marvel started kicking trash.
Yeah,
I have this great hope that they can pull this off and take these very iconic characters, more iconic than even the Marvel stuff in terms of overall comics culture, and turn it into something really special. I just really want it, so I'm not going to be a poo-pooer on this. I want this to be good.
Yeah,
and I'll wait and see. I mean, obviously, if it isn't, it isn't, but. Where's your head at? What do you think about it? You want it? Are you feeling comfortable in its goodness?
Oh yeah. I mean, we're gonna get what we get, right? And if people don't like it and saying it's nothing like the comic books, then go read some comic books. And if people are like, well, the New 52 is nothing like the comics I remember, then go back into your back issue bins and read those. I think we just need to keep a very open mind. And I think when they announced the Arrow series on TV, people were like, oh, this is gonna suck. Yeah. And then, of course, that spun off into Flash, which is hugely popular. Yeah. We're going to get, a Vixen animated series set in that Arrow universe. So I think if people are a little bit really open-minded going into this, I don't think it's going to be horrible.
Yeah. Well, time will tell, as always with DC properties.
Yeah, we'll see. Scott Kurtz will probably have a bit.
Yeah, Kurtz will have lots.
What's the likelihood we'll see Firestorm and Atom get?
I honestly think and I kind of mentioned this last week, I think with kind of the nerd boner that's going on with Firestorm since the beginning of the Flash series, I honestly think we're going to see a Firestorm spinoff within the next year or two.
Yeah, Kat Metzen the other day was talking on Facebook about how I haven't seen it, but the most recent episode apparently is very felt like a pilot for Firestorm in a way.
Yeah. It's a whole origin story.
You finally see some kind of nods to his costume too. Costume.
Yeah.
It'll be really interesting.
That they use
I kind of half predict that DC's just going to dominate with their stuff on TV.
They already do.
And they already do.
You've got Arrow, Flash, Gotham. Mm-hmm. You've got Constantine, which NBC will make a decision on that in May.
Yeah.
You've got Supergirl coming. You've got Teen Titans.
Yeah.
What's the other one that they have talked about?
You mentioned Arrow, right?
Yeah, Arrow.
Gotham.
Supergirl, Gotham. So we've got at least 6 right there, and I'm going to bet that we're going to see another 2 or 3 pop up. Oh, we got Lucifer, which is been announced and greenlit. We've got Preacher still kind of working. So yeah, DC really dominates the small screen.
Yeah.
And I think they should be happy with that.
And their direct to DVD / direct to streaming animated stuff, still top notch, still the best stuff in the business.
Yeah, it is.
So it's so weird to see that arm just succeeding in so many ways.
The problem is, I mean, if you look at what the cost is for a commercial time for one episode of like Gotham, which I think is $150,000 per 30-second commercial, I think is what it is.
Yeah.
When you time it all out and you look at the cost per episode of somewhere between $3 and $5 million for Gotham, $1 to $2 million per episode for Flash, it's barely break even for a lot of these shows.
Mm-hmm.
You open up a $200 million movie and you make $1 billion off of it, the profit margins are much, much larger. So in some cases, Marvel and Disney can click their tongues and say, whatever, DC and Warner Brothers.
Well, and that's my point,
it's somewhat justified because there is more profit to be made by going to the big screen.
Well, absolutely. And that's my entire point is what you'd think they would throw all their creative energy and good choice making at the film side, and they don't, or they don't seem to. I don't know.
They need a shake up in upper management at Warner Brothers.
And
I think they made a smart move when they moved what's her name, Diane to make her the president overseeing everything DC related and bringing Jeff Johns in. That's some smart thinking, but the higher ups still need to look at some other ways to be open about these properties as opposed to, well, we must attract the 18 to 25 white male audience and get them into the theaters. That's just bad thinking in this day and age.
They need to give Feig an offer he can't freaking refuse and have him come over and work that same magic. But yeah, you're right.
That'll never happen.
It won't. What else? We got more joining the Jessica Jones cast. What do we know about this?
3 more actors have joined AKA Jessica Jones on Netflix. We've got, what's his name? Eka Darville, who will play a next-door neighbor. We also have Aaron Moriarty, who is someone who hires Jessica Jones for a case. And then finally, Will Travel will play a New York City. Is that his name? Yeah, Travel. Will Travel.
Have gun.
He's going to play a New York City police detective or cop that takes his job a little bit too seriously. So there you go.
Wow.
Nice. He'll play a paladin.
Pretty excited about that.
I really am too. We just recently, if you guys haven't read this, on the Major Spoilers podcast last week, we reviewed Alias Volume 4, which is all about the Purple Man.
Yeah.
And he is the big villain that we know has been cast for this series. And it's pretty deep and it's pretty scary. And if they're doing anything close to what was in the Brian Michael Bendis comic series, this Netflix series is just going to blow people's minds.
Huh. Okay. Well,
I mean, yeah, go read it if you haven't. It's disturbing, it's dark, and it's very well worth your time.
So there's a new Dynamite Entertainment half-naked lady comic coming out.
Yeah.
Called Swords of Sorrow, and it turns out
it's a whole series.
Yeah, it's a whole series. Gail Simone has joined, or is headlining basically the all-female writing team.
Yes,
which
is a pretty big deal. She has over the last, I want to say, year and a half, 2 years, been writing some Red Sonja comics. She's doing really great with Jim Zub on the Conan Red Sonja series. Dynamite just announced that they're flipping that around and doing a Red Sonja Conan series next year that she'll be working with. And she's just been tearing it up as far as strong female characters. And in this series, this Sword and Sorrow, which we don't know a whole lot about, she's bringing in like Nancy A. Collins, who's been writing Vampirilla. She's bringing in G. Willow Wilson, who's been working on Miss Marvel over at Marvel Comics, and a bunch of others to come in and tell these stories that take some of the pulpier female heroes, Red Sonja, Deja Torres, Vampirilla, and others, Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, and putting them in the lead of these stories.
I'm glad you tacked Queen of the Jungle on the end. I wasn't sure about the Sheena at first.
Yeah,
but it's like a team up kind of thing. At least if this image is to be believed, which is great. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, it should be. Now, Dynamite has been doing this for a while now. They did 2 years ago, or a year ago, they did this thing called King's Watch, where they took all of the King Features heroes, Mandrake, Flash Gordon, I forget who the other two were, but threw them all together in a big story defending the Earth, is basically Defenders of the Earth, against Ming the Merciless. And now those have spun off into their own series that are going on right now. You'll see them King Mandrake #1, King the Phantom, those kinds of things.
Wow.
And then they also did it with the pulp heroes with Doc Savage, the Avenger, the Shadow, and Green Hornet. And that was done very well. So it makes sense that they should shine the spotlight on some of the female heroes as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's funny because these are also all the ladies that, if it wasn't currently be written by a bunch of ladies, these are the heroes that everybody would complain about and call sexist and have all this trouble with.
Yeah, which is interesting because what I really like when Gail Simone was doing Red Sonja, and if you get a chance to read the Conan Red Sonja series, it's really well done. But it's fine. She's fine with keeping Red Sonja in her chainmail bikini.
Yeah, it's a beefcakey,
Yeah, and at least
it's such a bummer that J. Scott Campbell doesn't know how to draw hot women.
Yeah, I know. But there are
shame.
some other covers that are really good. And for Deja Torres, she's actually wearing more clothing than she did in the original book.
Oh, well.
Yeah, they basically run around naked on Mars.
Yeah, that's what they do. And it's just, I don't know, it's interesting because you have some very, very smart, very interesting female writers being thrown at what is traditionally thought of as trashy, half-naked lady comics.
And I think what people are going to see is that they can tell really good stories that don't require all the sexy.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, there you have it then. Look for that hitting shelves soon. Steven, anything else going on in your side of the world that you want people to know about this week?
To think what's going on. We've got a new Lego build up on the website, Brainiac Attack. That is the set 76040. We got the speed build on that. And then I do an eBay triple play unboxing, essentially. 3 things that I ordered off eBay that came in all at once that I unboxed. You can check that out at Major Spoilers video over on YouTube. And I hear that a helicarrier or two may be landing. In fact, one has already landed.
Oh, have you gotten yours?
Mine arrived on Friday.
Oh, wow. Yeah, mine arrives tomorrow.
Yeah. So be on the lookout for some of that talk in the near future.
Yeah,
I don't know.
have to...
It's going to be a while before I can build mine.
Oh, really? Yeah, I'm setting up the setting up the time lapse iPhone thing, and I'm going to try and tackle some of it tomorrow and Thursday and Friday, and see how much I can get done.
The closest I can get is Saturday afternoon for that one. So I still have to build this Avengers Attack on Avengers Tower that came in last week. So.
Oh, that's another big one. What like on these larger sets, what's your usual time frame for getting them put together?
Well, let's see. This Avengers one is 515 pieces. That will take probably about 2 hours to get through everything. The Quinjet, I think, took most of the afternoon. It took about 4 hours to get through. Wow. So this helicarrier piece with 3,000 pieces, 4 pieces shy of 3,000.
12 hours probably.
I think it's going to take a better part of 2 or 3 days to get it all put together.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Well,
so do make sure you don't have anything planned for your dining room table, Brian.
Yeah, he's got his
poker table's getting this.
Yeah, poker table's perfect for that.
Yeah.
By the way, just a side note about all that. Brandon Griffith, the big time Lego art, I would call him an artist, was on the show Current Geek this last Friday. He was our guest.
Oh, okay, cool.
Totally worth checking that episode. He hails from the website brickstuds.com.
Yeah.
If you've seen
I'm familiar.
if you've seen like his chess sets based on Star Wars or any of that stuff, totally worth hearing that guy talk about Legos. And he talks a bunch about the helicarrier, so
cool.
Worth checking
I'll have to
out.
listen to that myself.
Yeah, currentgeek.com, everybody. Go subscribe. Steven, as always, majorspoilers.com. You can go check that out, listen to his podcast, hang out with Steven. He's the man. Thanks very much for talking with us. We'll see you next time.
All right. Thanks, guys. See ya.
All right.
See you.
Talking with us. I need to enunciate today. I'm not enunciating my words.
Thank you for talking with us.
Thank you. All right. We have some emails, and they're brought to us by somebody. Who is it?
Little Tiny Dot, a weekly TV music podcast where you can hear St. Vincent take on Bob's Burgers and sing along with Monty Python. Check out the show and subscribe at poddle.fm/LTD. That's PODDLE.fm/LTD.
I'm not familiar with Poddle. What do they do? .fm.
I want to say they're UK, aren't they? Didn't we had a previous Poddle.
Oh, yeah. You know what?
Poddle.
I think you're right, but they're kind of a network, and then they just let people in or something, or I don't know. I can't figure it out. I'm looking at it now, and I still don't know.
Yeah, I can't tell.
All right, well, we got some emails. We got one from Brett. Brett wrote in, says, "Good morning, Jack and Diane." Little ditty by Jack and Diane. He says, let's listen to your Tuesday episode. By the way, David Michael, who does a lot of stuff for the show and for us, he sees him like once a year because he goes to Farm Aid, and I guess Farm Aid is where John Cougar Mellencamp
Mellencamp is all over that business. Yeah,
he's all into that. Anyway, so just listen to your Tuesday episode. During the birthday segment, the topic of actors playing different characters in the same show came up. In Deadwood, because we were talking about Harry Morgan came back.
As a different character
in less of a season.
Yeah.
So he was that crazy colonel or that crazy general, and then came back later as Colonel Potter, which is weird. Anyway, says. In Deadwood, Garrett Dillahunt, this is true, I'd forgotten about this. He appeared as two very distinct different characters. In season 1, Garrett played Jack McCall, great character, and Francis Wolcott in season 2. You still have to watch that show.
I will. Yeah.
It's so good.
Love Garrett Dillahunt. So knowing it's got twice the Garrett Dillahunt.
A bonus for you. You'll see it now. That said, I'm really, really enjoying the listening to TMS every morning on the cat on the way to work. What's the cat? The cat. On the cat on the way to work. That must be like is that a light rail system where you live or something?
I don't know. On the cat. Maybe he goes to work on a Hobie Cat.
Oh, maybe. Or maybe
a Caterpillar, one of those Caterpillar heavy machinery vehicles.
With a big shovel on the front.
Yeah.
Sorry for being...
Maybe he's He-Man.
Maybe. He gets Cringer up. Come on, Cringer. Time for work.
Exactly.
Sorry for being slow to listening to the show, bro. Brett, he says.
Nice.
All right, Brett. Thanks, man. Kyle in Pittsburgh wrote in our final email of the morning.
Okay.
He says, Scott, listening to you talk about the cops and how hard their job is, because we talked about cops and, this whole thing with everyone freaking out about cop brutality versus what's actually really happening. They hear 100 times a day the guy in the backseat can't breathe. So when the one time the guy dies, that's all anyone hears about. They didn't hear the 500 other times and all that we were talking about. Anyway, it says, please consider that it's only with the advent of cell phones capturing the cops in action that instances of police brutality have come to light. Be assured that it is recent cases of cop killing unarmed black Americans. If there hadn't been cell phone video, the cops would have gotten off scot-free, no pun intended. Oh, wait, they did. Yep, being a cop is hard, no doubt about it. But I think he means if you're not up to the task, don't take the job. Thanks for talking about it, though. It's always helpful to hear another person's perspective. Squeeze the hobo Kyle in Pittsburgh. So we still haven't heard back from any cops yet, but I guarantee you that Kyle's perspective is a limited one. Forget about cell phones, forget about video, that's all true, right? This exposes things. But when you have a video that exposes somebody who says, I can't breathe, which is what they have, that doesn't, that camera didn't catch the 40 other guys that same day who used the same excuse.
Right.
So all I'm saying is, it's to see them ignoring a guy like that because he's saying that isn't because they have no heart and they want that guy to die.
Right. It's because they hear that in every person that they shove in the back of their car or have to hold down as they're putting on handcuffs or whatever.
Right. And I'm not, I don't want people to think that I am way on the other side of this thing where it's all pro cop. I'm not doing that at all. I think there are plenty of cases of abuse, obviously abuse and criminal abuse in a lot of ways. I'm not saying that. I am just saying it is so easy for everybody to just pick one of these sides and then hold to it like a freak. And I just don't think everyone, including me, has all the info. We just don't.
It's not that black and white. Yeah,
nope.
There's
It's gray as hell, dude.
multiple shades of another color that's not black nor white.
Or 50. It's like 100,000 shades of gray.
Right, exactly.
Sequel coming soon. Send us your emails. If you are a active police officer, I would love to hear from you, just from your perspective. I have some friends here locally that have all kinds of thoughts on this stuff, but I also know some people who've been kind of hosed by the cops, and your perspectives are welcome as well. But it's I don't know, it's such an interesting topic at this point of our national consciousness that I think it's worth talking about. That's going to do it for emails. You can email us themorningstream@gmail.com. As always, you can also leave us phone messages. I have some, but I didn't have time to prep them today. We'll have them tomorrow. 801-471-0462. You can find us on the website at frogpants.com/TMS. And as always on Twitter, Coverville, Scott Johnson, and Morning Stream. There's a new film sack up, so go to filmsack.com.
Yes.
Check it out. What was the movie we did? I already forgot.
That would be True Grit, the original
True Grit.
1969 True Grit.
That's right.
They say he has grit. I wanted a man with grit.
Man with Grit. So,
Starring Wilfred Brimley and Robert Duvall.
Yeah. And that other guy, I forgot his name.
That other guy, Pilgrim.
Bruce Campbell. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, go check it out. It's the original True Grit from 1969, and it was an interesting experience. Yeah. She looks just like her. That is so weird. That's going to do it for us. Brian, anything else? Have I forgotten anything?
One thing. Just
What?
one thing.
What's that?
Music.
Oh, then let's just play some then, damn it.
Sure. Sean wrote in, said, well, I have to do this in a posh English accent.
All right.
Dear Southend-on-Sea and Berwick-upon-Tweed.
Wow.
On the 23rd of February, me and the boys will be having a game of rugger, followed by a jolly good knees-up to celebrate another birthday in good old Blighty. So, be a good lad and play us a cover, would you, old bean? Kate Davis plays a rather spiffing rendition of All About That Bass. I'm sure such a fine fellow and all-around top chap like yourself will have no problems furnishing such a request. If not, then you sirs are blackguards, bounders, rapscallions, nitwits, and scoundrels. I demand satisfaction. I choose fisticuffs at dawn. Queensberry rules, no less. Tally-ho, chocks away, and toodle-pip me old China.
Wow.
Sean.
Wow.
For those of you who didn't understand that, he says, I'm going to get drunk and play rugby on my birthday. Any chance you could play Kate Davis's cover of All About That Bass? If not, then you're an idiot. Thanks, mate.
Great.
Sean from England.
Great. Nice.
This is great. This is a postmodern jukebox tune, and Scott Bradley just makes everything he touches so much better. This has Kate Davis playing an actual upright bass for the song, and you can find it on their most recent album, which is called Historical Misappropriation. Came out last year. Really tried to get Scott Bradley and Postmodern Jukebox for Nerdtacular. I don't think it's something to keep secret that we tried to get him, and I think it's just a scheduling issue because they're out touring like crazy right now. But they would have been a perfect fit for Nerdtacular.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited about who we have, and as soon as we get a little closer and get a confirmation, then I'm going to be excited to announce that too.
Ooh, very exciting.
Scott Bradley, Postmodern Jukebox, and Kate Davis, all about that bass.
I just reminded me to remind people there was something else I totally forgot, and I'll talk about it tomorrow. But tickets on sale for Nerdtacular this Wednesday, the 25th. So gear up your clicking finger. It'll be time to get your tickets Wednesday the 25th at nerdtacular.com. Details tomorrow as we get closer. All right. Here it is, all about that upright bass. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Because you know I'm all about that bass, about the bass, no trouble. I'm all about